Oh, you've got Catherine here.
Because I
I
am looking at that.
okay, there you go. Catherine's in charge. I
No,
should have put
no.
her in charge of this meeting. I didn't know she'd be
Oh,
here, so I should have made her the person in charge. Okay, Peter, it's all you.
Wow, you, Brittany, are my favorite manager. Write that down, Catherine. This woman knows how to take charge and take no prisoners. I am all about customer service. I absolutely love customer service. I love going to the Legacy Center because you guys are absolutely wonderful people. Every time I go to the Legacy Center, I feel welcome. And I've been a member for years. This is my 19th year of teaching customer service. And I always ask Dan, why do we do this? And he says, we got to keep it up, because we do. The most important people in the Legacy Center, of course, are our guests who come in, but they're also you folks. We couldn't do it without you. I know some of you will not last and make this your career and whatnot, but the stuff we're going to talk about today is going to help you in any career that you do. And it's going to help you in any relationship that you have. Today, the one word that I want you to remember is the word yes. Okay? Just the word yes.
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 Yes, yes, yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
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 Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I could have done that for the next 45 minutes. Did anybody count how many times it said yes? It doesn't matter. There is an attitude in your head that if you are able to say, you know what, yes, I can help you, it changes the whole interaction with people. Again, both at work and both in your interactions with each other and spouses and friends and whatnot. So one of my places that does this really well, that I really like, is Culver's. Who does not love Culver's? Look at that fish burger. You guys are hungry right now. Culver's not only does good food, you look at the eyes of the people there, and every time I go to Culver's, I always feel like I'm loved and respected and welcome there. I know working in fast food's not that fun, but I also love other places too, like Arctic Circle. Arctic Circle is one of my favorite places too. Their thing, they say, is that for over 70 years, we've sent people home with big smiles and full stomachs. Again, product and the way that you're treated there. Who doesn't love their good stuff, those shakes that go over the rim? My wife says to stop eating them because she doesn't like how I'm looking. So I went over to the Arctic Circle store and I was talking to the manager, and he said, you got to look at this poster. And in the poster, it says the 5 keys to restaurant success. I'm not going to talk about quality food and all that kind of stuff. Today, we're going to focus on guest service, the way we treat each other. Greet every guest with a smile and make them feel you are genuinely glad they came to visit your Legacy Center. We expect you to do that. I love Arctic Circle, but my number one favorite place is everybody loves In-N-Out Burger. Well, for you vegans in the room, I apologize for using these meaty examples, but In-N-Out Burger, they've been doing it right since 1948. The people that go to In-N-Out Burger are like me. I'm from Southern California. I love the quality of the place, but why do people love it? Let's find out. This is a little clip of a new store that's being opened up, a new In-N-Out Burger store.
A double-double with fries, animal style. If you know what that means, you're probably a fan of In-N-Out Burger. Millions are fiercely loyal to the chain that began more than 6 decades ago in California. And only on CBS This Morning, Ben Tracy brings us a rare visit with the company's president to find the secret sauce of In-N-Out's success.
When In-N-Out opened a new store in Medford, Oregon this month, it brought its burgers to the Pacific Northwest for the first time, and that brought a long line of devoted fans.
If there was a new Wendy's or a new McDonald's opening up in Medford, would you wait in line?
No.
Denise Lee drove 3 hours, stayed overnight in a hotel, and showed up at 7 a.m. to get in line.
Why are people so devoted to this?
You sound like someone who's never had an In-N-Out burger.
Celebrities have been seen downing double-doubles on Oscar night. Julia Child said it was one of her favorite burgers. Paris Hilton once needed In-N-Out so desperately, she got a DUI on her way there.
I was just really hungry and I wanted to have an In-N-Out burger.
So why are people so dedicated to this place? I think it starts with the leadership. It starts with the people of the Legacy Center. Again, I show you these clips, and I'm kind of showing you In-N-Out Burgers so that you can compare it to where you're working at right now. This is the owner, the top dog at In-N-Out Burger. They're a privately held company. Her name is Lindsay Snyder. She inherited the company when her father passed away. She is a rich woman, but sorry guys, she's either seeing somebody or she's married. She became a billionaire, that's with a B, in 2017 on her 35th birthday when she received the final portion of her inheritance. And this is where she lives in Orange County, I think, here. Like her father, Snyder, she's an avid drag racing fan, a member of NHRA, loves the fun things of life. She's part of a band called 48 Special in honor of the founding of In-N-Out Burger in 1948. She plays bass and sings, and her husband, Sean Ellington, plays the guitar, and that's him holding the cup. Okay, that's really helpful, isn't it? Okay, let's move along here. Let me tell you what I learned after spending a day at In-N-Out Burger headquarters with my friend named Steve Tanner. Steve Tanner and I were neighbors in a city called Mission Viejo in California. We weren't really neighbors. He lived in the expensive section and in the gated community. I lived in the rental district, okay? But he knew that I loved marketing, advertising, customer service, and he said, would you like to come spend a day with me at the In-N-Out Burger headquarters? And I said, absolutely. Not only did I get a free burger that day, I got to see how they do things there. He went through the entire warehouse explaining to me how they make such great products. He says, our lettuce is hand-leafed. They use a core, whatever that does, and they've been doing it this way since 1948. Shakes, only 3 flavors, vanilla, chocolate, strawberry, or you can mix them up to be really creative, right? Tomatoes, their tomatoes are big red beef steak tomatoes, picked to perfection. And I asked Steve, okay, what do you do with the tomatoes that are not good? And he says, we give them to McDonald's. Now, I don't want to diss McDonald's, but In-N-Out Burger has standards, right? Their buns, they're properly toasted sponge dough for a good fermentation process, is what he said. And there were 2 people at that company watching buns all day. Hamburger buns come off the line. Okay. Cheese from Cache Valley. Got to go to Utah to get your right cheese here. Everything, the little things make the difference, including their fries, which are fries. They're made out of potatoes. That's it. Salt and sunflower seed. In fact, they cut them in the restaurant every day. You can kind of watch them in the back doing that here. The meat, okay, you vegans in the room, close your ears. So sorry about this, but I have to tell you how they do their hamburger here. So I said, Steve, how do you keep your burgers so fresh? And he says, well, we don't freeze them. That's one thing. And I said, but how do you store it? He took me upstairs, opened up these windows into like a 50-acre place, and there must have been hundreds of heads of cattle. And he says, there's tomorrow's beef. And I said, close the windows. That was disgusting. So we're going to get to the people part of In-N-Out Burger and why it's so cool there. The managers at In-N-Out Burger make more than $100,000 per year. I mean, by the way, don't quit the Legacy Center, okay? We're not going to pay you that much, but if you want to get a higher paying job, be a manager at In-N-Out Burger. People love In-N-Out Burger. Here's a guy, he's critiquing a 4x4. For you In-N-Out Burger people, 4x4 is 4 patties of meat. Again, sorry for all you vegetarians.
Hi guys, it's the Best Reviewer. Today I'm reviewing 4x4 In-N-Out Burger. That tasted super yummy, 9 out of 10.
Okay, so he gave it a 9 out of 10. So we can assume that the product is good based on this guy. I found this on the internet, so we know it must be true, right? Why would I want to work for In-N-Out Burger? This is from their website, and I quote, In-N-Out is a stable, growing company where the advancement opportunities are endless. As an hourly associate, you can advance through a variety of levels tied to pay increases and have the opportunity to pursue a management career. In fact, all of our store managers are promoted from within. The people that work for In-N-Out Burger are very loyal. And one of the things that I really like about them is they have the attitude that, yes, I can. So I'm going to give you some definitions in a minute and read some quotes out of the book that Lindsay Schneider wrote. As far as our definitions go for this particular class that we're doing right now, we don't call the people that come into the Legacy Center customers. We call them guests. And I am flat out stealing from Disney. Now, I know it's not related to In-N-Out Burger, but the way they do things at Disney too, the way that the attitude that they treat their people is wonderful. You are no longer an employee. You are now a cast member at the Legacy Center, okay? You don't have a job, you have a role, and everybody plays an important role, from the people that greet us at the desk to the people that we don't even see on the front lines. You are no longer wearing a custom uniform, you wear a costume. When you're out front and doing your job, you are on stage, which we appreciate. And all of our products and services that we offer are attractions. Now, just a couple little housekeeping things before we get back to Lindsay Snyder here. Again, if you haven't signed the chat form, I'm giving you an opportunity to sign it now. You're gonna have to sign it again at the end, but you ought to do that right now. And I appreciate you renaming yourself. I do not want you to be called Mom's iPhone. Put your name on there so I know who you are. The video, Dan Harrison does not mind that I use him as my star here. I like to see Dan. I like to see everybody. So if you want to start your video, please do. Keep muted. I'm going to have you talk in a while, but stay muted. And eventually I'm going to have you raise your hand, and you do that at the bottom, and you click on the raise hand icon, but don't do that yet. What I need you to do right now is everybody grab a pen and a paper. It doesn't have to be big. It could be a Post-it note size if you want, or an 8.5 by 11, but you need a pen and a paper, okay? That's step one. And if you don't have a pen and paper, you can get one after, because you're not going to be writing a ton of stuff. Well, you will be in the next session, because David makes you take good notes here. So at the top of your paper, write your name. Easy. And then step number three, write the word yes, exclamation point, on your sheet of paper, okay? And finally, I want you to show me your paper. If you could please hold up your screen or your paper to the screen right now to prove to me that you are doing it. Good job. Kara, you've got such a good attitude. I love that. She's got it on her phone. I want to see happy faces. Okay, that's better. All right, you're doing good. Okay, so hold that, because you're going to need that paper at the end of today's class, okay? And you will thank me for having you do this paper, okay? So at the end of presentation, if you have this paper, you're going to turn it in for a gift card. You're not only getting paid to come to this class today, you're going to get some nice gift card at the very end. You will thank me. You can thank me now or thank me later on, okay? We want to, this year, create a culture of yes at the Legacy Center, okay? She wrote a book, and in there, she talks about the yes culture. I read her book. Great book. One thing, she says, I'm particularly proud of is that we believe we've mastered what we call a culture of yes. I didn't start it, but I worked hard to refine it and implement it throughout the company. The practice stems from our training and support teams, and essentially, it means that we pushed our focus on customer care a step further because we have a really positive attitude. Now, I realize we can't say yes on everything. We're going to talk about that in a minute. She says, with a culture of yes, we strive to say, yes, we could do that for you, no problem. We try to do that as often as possible. She continues, on any given visit to an In-N-Out store, you'll meet associates trained to welcome customers with a warm smile and eye contact. Open doors for you, grab high chairs for families with little kids, be patient and attentive when taking orders, never rush customers, hand out stickers to kids, and offer to refill drinks without being asked, all aimed at giving you a positive experience, a yes experience. Now, again, we don't work at In-N-Out Burger. We work at Legacy Center. So keep thinking, how can we do more yes and less no? She says, if we ever need to say no, it might be for food safety reasons, or it might be something that would throw off our operation, meaning every business, including us at the Legacy Center, have rules and safety issues and policies and procedures. She says, but saying yes whenever possible is part of who we are. And I believe our customers appreciate our willingness to go the extra mile. Like Uncle Rich always said, the customers are the ones who sign our paychecks. Our customer is our most important asset. True. So how do we create a culture of yes at the Legacy Center?
What keeps most people coming back is a simple menu that basically hasn't changed since Harry Truman was president. Burgers, fries, sodas, and shakes.
It's about the quality, the friendliness, and the cleanliness. We keep it simple.
Lindsay Snyder is In-N-Out's 33-year-old president.
The one word people use to describe your family throughout the years is reclusive. You guys don't talk a lot about In-N-Out or do interviews. Well, why is that?
You know, we back away from it because we don't want to be in the spotlight. We don't want a bunch of attention, and we want to do what we do best, and that's serve some good burgers to our customers. It's not about us here. It's about this.
It's not about us, it's about this. She's pointing not only to the wonderful product that they have there, but she's talking about the way that the customers treat the way that the employees and cast members treat the guests. You want to be able to say, here's some key principle number one. We want you to love your job at the Legacy Center. You want to be able to say, yes, I know and I love my job, but I'm not the star. Our guests are the heroes. So everybody get ready, get to your device, because I'm going to ask you 5 questions, and you're going to push one of the buttons on the thing to tell me what the answer is. We're going to do a quiz right now. And so get ready for question number 1. This is the question. What program do we not offer at the Legacy Center? Princess and Super Party, Hero Parties, martial arts, men's volleyball, or a sewing camp? The reason we're doing this is to find out how well you know the Legacy Center. So keep going out of you 107 people that are here right now. You've got 4 seconds to answer the question. 3, 2, 1. I shall stop right now. I almost beat you. It's men's volleyball, which I would like to file a formal complaint right now with Dan. I do not know why you don't have men's volleyball. That's all I'm going to say about that. Okay.
We have co-ed volleyball though.
Okay. What?
Yeah.
Nobody's ever invited me. They think I'm too old.
You're invited. You're officially invited. There's no age limit. You just have to be 18. I guess there is a limit.
Okay, I'm 18. Okay, speaking of age limit and stuff like that, question number 2. What is the minimum age to join the senior center? I know this because I am a mature individual, but now I can join the co-ed volleyball team. I love this. You guys don't know the answers. This is wonderful. You guys are like the most diverse group I've had doing this year, okay? 3, 2, 1. End poll. Share results. The answer is 60. I qualify, and it is a bargain. Well done, guys and gals. Next question. You will not know this answer. What is the non-member cost for an adult to use the full facility? 4, 5, 6, or 7? You front desk people better ace this one. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Wunderbar. You guys got that one right. Inflation. It's just killing us. Just inflation. Okay. Oh, you didn't see. Okay, there you now. Now you can see. You got it well. Well done. Okay, stop sharing there. So the answer was 6. Okay, a couple more questions to see how well you guys, you will not know this one here. What event is happening on December 7th? The Santa Parade, the Thanksgiving Parade, the Halloween Parade, New Year's Day, or my birthday? This is a tough one. You guys are... All right. It's not tough. I'm stopping the competition because you guys are making me look bad. I got to do better on my questions next year, don't I? Nice job. Nice job. You did that one. Okay, one more question to see if you really know Nobody will get this one here. All right. What does FANS mean? Fans against negative seniors, fans against negative sportsmanship, fans against negative swearing, fans asking for nicer spectators. This one's not even fun. Okay. for
I
you
wish that would have
people-
been the name of it. Fans asking for nicer spectators.
Actually,
Where were you when we named the program?
I
Peter?
was not consulted on this. I was not consulted. End the poll, share the results. 4 out of you people answered fans asking for nicer spectators. You folks are not the winners, but your answers are the best. It's fans against negative sportsmanship. Okay, you guys did well. Thank you very much for acing the quiz. It's important that no matter where you work, that you kind of know what's going on because you can kind of be more helpful and all that good stuff here. So well done. Let us carry on here. So the answers were taken out of this wonderful little booklet, this guide to everything you need to know about the Legacy Center. So key principle was love your job. Okay. Key principle number 2, we need you to practice safety. Okay. We want you to be able to say, yes, I will keep our guests safe. I will keep my coworkers safe. Safety really is the most important thing. Now, Disney taught this to me. They have what are called the 4 elements of service. I went to the Disney Customer Service University, and I'm a graduate of the program. Number 4, the 4th most important thing, not number 1, 4th is efficiency, running a smooth operation, which you guys do already. Number 3, show. Again, this is Disney. Offer great attractions. We have incredible attractions and programs at the Legacy Center. Number 2, courtesy. That's what we're talking about today. Treat everybody with respect. The golden rule, if you will. But that is not the most important thing at the Legacy Center. Number 1 will always be safety, protecting everyone from harm. Never forget that. We want you to be, as I said, courteous in this previous slide, but safety is number 1. Now, to help demonstrate safety, I'm going to introduce you to a volleyball player named Scott Sterling. If you've not heard of him, after this class, go Google him on the internet. This is absolutely funny because he's created other videos. This is not real. Okay, this is not a real volleyball game here, but you'll see it and you'll say, there's no way he could have done that. This is Scott Sterling teaching us that safety matters. Pay attention here. Oh, by the way, look at the team wearing the white jerseys and watch the only player on the white side wearing dark blue. That's Scott Sterling.
And is looking to put this one into the history books.
That's point for Yale.
Carolina finally pushed one through Sterling. Brown Sterling!
Did you see that?
Here comes a spike straight to the man!
The man! The legend!
His teammates help him to his feet. No! They raise him heavenward!
He did it! Scores! He ascended through the air like a defensive angel!
An angel with the face of a devil!
Look at this replay! 1 is the loneliest number!
2 tickets to paradise!
3 times the lady! 4 ever young!
As the crowd charges the court, the people...
I'm so sorry. Every time I see that, I laugh. You got to go see the whole thing here too here. But the point is that you remember the video and you remember Peter told us to be safe. Please be safe. Since the Legacy Center opened 100 years ago, I don't think we've had any major things happen that are bad safety-wise. So keep it up, okay? Always focus on people and being safe. Next key principle, giving service. I want you to be able to say, yes, I may not be able to control others, but I can control me. I choose to give great customer service. It is your choice, okay? I have brought in a rock star today. Brittany probably loves this, that I am putting her name on the big screen right now and her picture. And these are all of her children, grandchildren, friends, nieces, aunts, uncles, all these wonderful little kids. Brittany's going to tell us a story. And Brittany, I'm going to stop sharing. Thank you for sharing your photo with me. And thank you for being willing to do this. Brittany, the floor is yours. Teach us.
Okay. I knew my picture was going to show up and it still caught me off guard. So Peter asked me to share an example of an employee or some sort of story about an employee that chooses to say yes. And I feel like I have lots of examples, but I've got a couple recently. Am I allowed to share more than one, Peter? Or are we
You
doing?
could, yeah, I love to hear whatever
Okay.
you have.
Okay, so since I'm a manager, I deal a lot with my staff coming to me and saying yes to me. So that's also great. So I'm going to give that example in a second, but I'll use a customer service example, and I'm going to use an example from an employee that's on here, and she probably knows who she is, but I won't say her name to embarrass her. But I have a bunch of site supervisors that I'm sure many of you see at our sporting events, and they're wonderful, and they try and keep the crowd under control. And the lucky part about being a supervisor, I'll tell them it's lucky, is that they get to give answers and problem solve on the spot. And they're kind of me when I'm not there. And so I love them for that because then I don't have to always be there at the games. But when they're there, they're able to kind of ad lib a little bit and kind of find a way to say yes because they're the ones who are in charge there. And I have a supervisor who is really great at looking at what the root of the issue is. So if there's somebody who's having a really bad day and they just really wanted to, let's say for the example I'm going to give is we have some high school basketball teams. We have a lot of high school basketball teams, like 80 we had last season. And the high schoolers sometimes struggle following all the rules and being prepared when they come to the game just because they've got a lot going on. We try and treat them like adults, but they're not quite adults. So it's kind of a battle. But this supervisor is really good at finding a way to allow them to still play. It's important to still follow rules. So there's policies and things put in place at the Legacy Center or for our programs. So we have to follow rules for safety, like Peter mentioned. But she's really good at finding ways to allow them to play. For example, we have a rule that you have to have an adult on the bench when they have the high school teams. There has to be an adult on the bench for the basketball. And she will say, how about I sit on the bench for you and I'm your adult, that way I can help keep you in line, but you have to, uses give and take and just finds a way to say yes, because the other alternative was be that they couldn't play basketball. So anyway, that's a thing that wouldn't really be in the rules and we don't technically allow it, but finding a way to say yes to allow them to be happy as a customer really helps and solves the problem. And if she's not breaking a policy, but she's still able to say yes. So that's my example of a program. And then my example of a staff member, you guys know we had our Halloween party last weekend. As we were preparing for the Halloween party, I'm down a staff member right now because we have an employee that left and we're trying to fill the position. So I'm down an employee. So we had to pivot and make a change for what used to be the Spook Alley. It was mini golf this year. If you guys probably noticed that also if you were in the building. So it was a last minute change we had to do just so we could make sure it got done in time and we had filled the space. And I asked a bunch of people in the building for some help to get the mini golf area prepared. And I was in a meeting and I was explaining to the managers that I was like, we're really struggling. We've really got to get some staff to help us so we can make this happen so that it's top notch, top quality for our customers. And I was sitting in the meeting, and as the meeting ended, one of the pool employees walked past the door, and Suzanne, who's the manager she's the manager that oversees the aquatics. She called her manager in and on the spot said, "Can you be in charge of a hole for mini golf?" And he, without hesitation, said yes. He didn't know the details. He didn't know what he was being asked to do, but he knew that we wouldn't ask him to do something he couldn't do. So he just said yes and figured it out and was willing to do that. And obviously, you can't always say yes. It's not meaning to say yes when you can't. But if your default is yes, then I feel like it's a lot easier to go about your day and get everything done that you need to and help out as a team and your customers.
Wow. I like everything that you said, but at the very end, you used a word that I'm going to steal and use, and that is my default is yes. And again, sometimes you have to say no. I know you have to say no, but if you're looking for ways to solve it, even in the most negative situation, I'm saying, how can we solve this? You're doing a great job. Brittany, thank you. That was a dandy stories. I appreciate that. Nice. Thank you very much. Okay, everybody gets to look at her one more time, and then I'm going to take it off. Sorry, Brittany, no more picture. There you
It's
go.
my niece and nephew, not my grandkids, by the way.
Okay,
How
you
old
know
do you
what?
think I am, Peter?
No. Your parents' grandkids. That's what I meant. Sorry.
Oh, okay,
Yeah,
got
yeah,
it.
it could have been. Yeah. Again, I do not want to cross any lines here that are wrong. Okay, so we have expectations, and you folks naturally do it, but these are kind of like reminders of how well you're doing, right? Respect and courtesy. Just as you would expect to be treated, we expect you to extend the same courtesy to others. in your interactions at the Legacy Center. Respect and courtesy, even if you disagree, okay? Number 2, empathy and understanding. Put yourselves in the shoes of your coworkers and your guests. You don't know always what people are feeling when they come to work or what our guests are feeling when they're coming in. Have some understanding, have some compassion, have some empathy. Communication, practice open, honest, constructive communication with everybody, but you don't have to be rude doing it either. Okay. Team player. I wonder if Brittany has a story about being a team player in the golfing attraction. Yes. If you're needed somewhere, say, yeah, I'd be happy to help out, even though it's not your job, right? Fairness and equity, we don't discriminate at the Legacy Center. We want to do our best to create an inclusive workplace where everyone feels valued. You're a professional. I know you may be making the least amount of money, but you're a professional at this and make this the best job you've ever done with integrity, honesty, and ethical behavior. Helpfulness and support, your job is to serve, to offer assistance and support others. Now, to me, the big key principle, the one that works basically in every situation, is practicing the golden rule. Yes, it does matter how others treat me, and I will always practice, it does not matter how others treat me. I can always practice the golden rule. The golden rule is the way you want them to treat you. It's timeless. It's in every culture. It's in every religion. The golden rule is wonderful. So this is where we're going to get out and do a breakout session. We are not going to break dance. We're going to break out. And as a group, you choose somebody real quick in your group to kind of be the spokesperson, because that person's I'm going to call upon in just a minute. And you only have to talk about one thing. How can we practice the golden rule? Okay, no questions, I hope. How can we practice the golden rule? This is what we're going to do right now. We are going to put you in groups. I'm going to do it randomly. We have 109 people. So
This is a reminder to put your camera on because it's really awkward
yes,
when you go in and you don't have a camera on.
yes. And where did my, hang on a sec, breakout, start summary, show captions, polls, reactions, whiteboard. Just a minute. They've got a new thing here and it is missing. Participants. Oh, there we go. Sorry about that. They've assigned it. Okay, kids. Well, since everybody's younger than me here, I'm going to call you kids right now. And we're going to create 10 breakout rooms, about 10 people per. Please participate. Go for it. Just when it's time for you to join, start the conversation. You only have like a couple of minutes to write down every idea you can think about. And I will be back to you in about 2 minutes.
How do I join the group again?
There's a
Sorry.
link, but that's okay. I'm going to close the groups right now anyway, so you just stick with me.
Okay, sorry.
Folks, 1 minute. I am going to close the rooms, and you're going to join me back here. In 4, 3, 2, 1, you are back in my domain right now. Now, I've got 10 groups here. Some of you are going to be the chosen ones. Don't you remember Toy Story? Pick me, pick me. Which of you has something they want to say? Which group has something really, they just got to get it out of their system? Any groups want to volunteer to go first? Raise your hand or start talking. Okay, we're going to play hardball today here. Group number 6. Brianna Tippett, somebody was in your room. Who's the leader of group number 6? Group 6.
Steven he's on mute. He's trying to talk.
Steven.
There we go. Can you hear me now?
It's feeding good. Go ahead, Steven.
Yeah, perfect. I guess that little icon helps a lot when you unmute yourself, right? So I work the maintenance for anyone who doesn't know. I do part-time. I'm working the night shifts. Usually you'll find me, running around the place Saturday and Friday nights. And so a couple of things that we got from our takeaway in that group that were highlighted as far as how we can implement that golden rule in our rules was one to, not act as if it's a burden to service other people, right? Leading with a positive attitude as if we truly want to be there to help people. It's, a really good way to show people that you do care about, any assistance that they may need, not making it feel like, gotta help, be excited to want to help someone else. And then the other thing was to be attentive, to really see people, who need help and really, make sure we're doing our best to stay busy, because people then can read that. If, they see us around doing stuff all the time, then they can see that, that we want to do, something, being busy doing something, and it might be just an easier approach for us to them, or vice versa, to be like, hey, looks like this person wants to work here, and this might be, if we need something or they need something from us, just show that we have some interest in what we're doing. So be a little bit more approachable. And those are a couple of takeaways that we got from those.
Oh, group 6 is like the AP class of customer service, I can tell. Now, I'm sure the rest of you are pretty good, but probably not as good as group 6. Does anybody else have anything they want to join in on that? Any other group want to talk? Or I'll just choose somebody. Next.
I think something that
what group are you part of, buddy?
I'm in group 2.
Okay, group 2, you just got rescued by Porter.
Yeah, I think something that we were kind of thinking is to treat everyone with customer service like the golden rule. You want to make them a priority, like make the people a priority rather than like anything else. Make them feel like you're trying to help them, not just like do an objective or something like that.
Well done. Well done. Thank you, Porter. Thank you, Stephen. So group 2 and 6 off the hook. Is there another group that came up with something that they would like to share with the group? Tell me, a group. Who are you?
I'm Jane, but I don't know what group I was in. I'm sorry, Jane Hole. I don't know what number my group was.
Jane,
Maybe somebody in my group can tell me. But we just talked about being kind. Aiden shared a story how he's a lifeguard, and he's like, if I was running, I wouldn't want somebody to yell at me. So I'm not gonna, I'm gonna make sure he's safe, but I'm not gonna yell at him. I'm gonna find a different way to share it. So it's just like whatever you can do to be kind and to think before you speak. So
well done. Jane, you are in group number 10. I don't know what you're going to do with that information after today's meeting, but then know that you are in group number 10. Folks, you are absolutely wonderful in your ideas. And as a reward for doing such a wonderful thing today, do you remember you all have your sheets of paper? It should have one word on there, but when you're done with David Kitchen, it'll have more words. You get a gift today, but if you notice, the word says gifts. This is what your sheet should look like. That's all the notes that I want on there today. Um, Today, there's not one, but you get 3 gift cards. And you can thank the local businesses for these. I approached them, told them who I was working with, and they said, absolutely. So the 3 gift cards are going to be inside a colored envelope, which you just get from your manager and say, hey, here's my card. Here's my yes paper. Where is my envelope full of yummy gifts here? Number 1, Pioneer Party and Coffee. They are going to give you some cinnamon bears. Good. They're wonderful. And they're chocolate covered. Very low cal, I understand. That's Pioneer Party. That's nice of them, yes. Number 2, Culver's, bless their hearts, they're going to give you a free medium concrete mixer with your choice of 2 mix-ins. And those are delightful. No, they're not low-cal. They're just delightfully wonderful. And number 3, Pioneer Market's going to make it easy on you this year. You spend $10, you get $5 off on anything in the store. And so you need to get a card. All these are about the size of a business card, except this one. It's a little bit bigger. But these are just like thank you gifts, and thank you to you for coming today to customer service at the Lexi Center. Again, I am just absolutely always impressed on how well you do it naturally. But we want you to remember that whenever possible, try to be a yes woman, a yes man, but keeping safety in mind. Always remember the golden rule and how you want to be treated. That's how your customers want to be treated and your coworkers. Promise you, you do this, you're going to have wonderful days at work. You're going to be very employable down the road in other careers that you choose just because you know how to work with people. Thank you for coming today. I'm going to now turn the time over to David Kitchen. David, I hope you came.
Good morning, Peter.
It is a good morning.
I'm glad I could fulfill your deepest wish this morning.
Yeah, this is like Napoleon Dynamite. What is that word that he uses? My deepest desire, my biggest dream. Oh, I can't remember what it was, but
Your
David,
dreams come true this morning.
yes, my dreams have come true. Now, David, I'm going to make you co-host. Co means I still have power over this meeting.
Okay.
Okay, so do something, and again, I would appreciate it. What did I ask you not to do at this meeting in your portion last time? Do you remember?
I don't, not to stop the meeting.
No, not to talk about a certain place, and I hope you don't.
Are you going to stay today? Are you
I'm
able
going to
to
stay today. I'm wearing my Aloha shirt for this very benefit. I'm going to be taking
Uh-huh.
notes.
This is perfect. We are having everybody's dream come true this week. Okay, I like to interact with everybody. I can't see everybody all at once because there's 109 of us today. But if you would do me a favor, if you can, on the chat, um, list what area of the recreation department you work in. So whether that's at the rec center, the pool, sports, fitness, awesome. Thanks for getting us started. Okay, this helped me kind of understand where we're all coming from. Yes, my name is David Kitchen. I'm the HR director for the city. I have been here for over 10 years now, and I am revisiting a training we did a few years ago, but I think it's time to visit this area again. We're gonna go on a trip. So now that we know that the chat works okay, how many of you like warm tropical weather? Okay. Does anybody not like warm tropical weather? Does anybody love the weather we had this week? Cold, windy, wet, miserable. Am I selling it okay? Does that work? Okay. So we're gonna take a trip and let me share the screen. Um, Let me make sure we get this right. All right, let's do this one. And we're going to do those. And we're going to share that. Okay. So can you see this picture of paradise? Sweater weather. I'm sorry to disappoint you today. And Nathan, I know that you love the cold, but we're gonna visit someone a little bit warm, somewhere a little bit warmer. So we're gonna take a trip back to Hawaii. I don't know how many of you have been to Hawaii. I've been once, and it was wonderful. It was in the middle of May, and it was just pleasant. And so we're gonna take a trip to paradise. Not necessarily this area of paradise. We're gonna go to the Big Island, and we're going to visit. Let's see if the slides are working today. Oh, come on. We're gonna visit this place. Does anybody know where this is? This is a crater. Oh, Denison, I don't think there's snowboarding on the Big Island of Hawaii. Most cases. Maybe in the winter there's a little bit of snow, but anyways. Okay, this is an active volcano. It's one of the most active volcanoes in the world, and it is in Hawaii Volcanoes National Park. Does anybody know what I'm talking about? Does anyone know where this is? You can unmute yourself and call it out loud or add it into the chat. It starts with a K, not Kona. Thank you, Lori, though. Not, let's see, it's not one of the Mount Leia. Let's see, there's two that start with a mount, but nope, none of those. This is Kilauea, okay? One of the most active volcanoes in the world. And actually, this picture back in 2017, actually went a little like this, okay? This is not AI doctored picture, okay? This is a lava lake that Kilauea, as one of the most active volcanoes, started to come alive again, okay? It's pretty alive all the time, but it started bubbling up. And this was an actual photograph taken by a helicopter. Doesn't that look like a little grin? A little creepy there, maybe? I'll tell you a little bit what happened. We'll actually see a video of what happened that year, but 2017, 2018. But this reminds me of a quote. I like to read quotes too, so I'm going to need some participation here. But let's go to the next quote. And this is by Andrew Bernstein. Do I have a volunteer? You raise your hand or take yourself off mute. Who can read this out loud for everybody to hear? If you don't want to volunteer, I can volunteer you.
I can.
Okay, go ahead, April.
The number of stressors has multiplied exponentially. Traffic, money, success, work-life balance, the economy, the environment, parenting, family conflict, relationships, disease. As the nature of human life has become far more complicated, our ancient stress response hasn't been able to keep up.
Awesome. Thank you, April. So this stress talks about, yes, Roberta is a happy face on the volcano, right? That volcano is happy when it's erupting. How many of you are happy when there's lots of stress in your life? Okay? The more stress, the better, right? But as a society, as employees, as life happens, we have all kinds of stress, and it's good stress too, right? More money equals more happiness. Absolutely. Okay? So, but when the town grows, we have more traffic, more people move in, right? We have more neighbors we have to get to know. So that can be somewhat stressful. And if you're an introvert, you just want to stay at home underneath your nice blanket and say, this is my happy place. Well, I've got news for you. You're going to have to interact with other people, including today. So I'm going to try to teach you some advice about stress. But people react differently to stress. So let's talk about those different ways. Okay, so maybe you react to stress this way. This was an actual part of the 2017 Kilauea volcanic eruption. It was actually in the beginning. If you can't see in the foreground with those dotted white spots, those are actually homes. Okay, this is not really a happy thing, but there were vents that were just kind of releasing some lava and steam and what do they call it? Volcanic eruption stuff, whatever. Okay. So sometimes I relate this to people who just kind of just let stress release naturally and just kind of let it go off their back, right? They're not a big eruption, not an explosion, but just kind of venting here and there. Okay. The next picture from the same eruption was this fountain of lava. So this was kind of a more active eruption, but not explosive. Okay. So this just kind of, stress happens, it flows out, we're good. Maybe it impacts our neighbors a little bit, but it flows on a regular basis. Okay. The next picture I want to show is this three-stage picture actually. And so this happens not at Kilauea, but in other places around the world, where on the left-hand side you have a lava lake, okay? And it's actually above the water table or the ocean level, okay? And so actually this can happen below ground too, below the sea level as well. But so you kind of have this section at the top where the lava goes up and down, and when the lava goes down, the rocks fall in, and it kind of creates a blockage there. But because they're underneath the ground level, it heats up, and what happens when you heat up and expand, you're going to have an explosion. If any of you remember Mount St. Helens, this is that kind of eruption, okay? So it's very passive for a long time. It looks very safe in the middle, and then it's a big explosion. Maybe some of you feel like this is like a passive aggressive reaction to stress. Hey, everything's good and dandy, and then when you've watched, you hit your limit, then it explodes, okay? And then the last kind of stress reaction, and I think this is the least common, but if you can see this picture, we are erupting at the same time that we have rainbows in our life. Okay? These are the people I admire the most. They just deal with stress and they just put on the happy face and they really they're not bothered by the stress. Okay? So depending on which one you are, maybe you can identify which one. Maybe you change depending on the type of stress that's in your life or the type of stress that's at work. It all happens to us, right? Okay, so we're going to talk about 3 tips of advice today. And if you want to, you can use your paper and write these things down. Um, there will be some other specific things I want you to write down on that paper today, so please keep on to that paper. But the 3 tips of advice I have for you are number 1, be humane, 2, be resilient, and 3, use your connections. Okay, so let's talk about humane. Definition of humane. Let's go with another volunteer. Do we have another volunteer just to read this slide out loud for everybody? Anybody? I can start scrolling down the list of people. Oh, I didn't want to do that. Let's do participants. Oh,
I can do it, David.
okay, go ahead.
Humane is an adjective. It's characterized by tenderness, compassion, and sympathy for people and animals, especially for the suffering or distressed. Synonyms are compassionate, kindly, gentle, merciful, and an antonym would be brutal. The root word is human.
Awesome, thank you. So, humane, I like this word because it ties to human, right? We are all human, and we can all we can act humanely to other people. And okay, so on that piece of paper, I said we need to get that back out again. And I want on that piece of paper you to write one example of how a coworker has shown compassion towards you. So take a minute, think a minute, maybe recent, maybe less recent, but an example of how someone has treated you with kindness, has understood you, has expressed empathy, something like that. And as you're doing that, if you're really quick about that, I would actually invite you to share some of this on the chat. Okay? So it doesn't have to be very long. You don't have to write me a novel or everybody else a novel. But if you're stuck on what examples come to mind, maybe just listen to see what other people have done. Oh, I love this. Thanks, Sharon, for getting us started. They listened, covering a class for me. Yeah. Um, took a shift. Okay. Awesome. Apologizing. That's unique, but I love it. Sometimes we have to say sorry, right? Okay. Um, awesome. Okay. There are many different ways where this already happens. All of you are wonderful. You act compassionately towards each other, and not just towards coworkers and employees, but towards guests, right? So as Peter focused his section on customer service, this applies to all of us, right? Having a conversation, making me feel noticed, right? Awesome. Keep those coming. I really hope that you can see these examples. Acknowledging them, being grateful for them really goes a long ways. We have humane employees at the Lehi Legacy Center and as part of Lehi City. This is really important and really creates that culture that we matter. Everyone matters, right? Okay, so we're going to talk about animals here in a minute. And I'm going to show an animal on this next slide. And I have not had an encounter with this kind of animal. However, it is a honey badger. Oh, sorry, not a honey badger. That was the wrong one. It is a wolverine. Okay. So not a Utah Valley wolverine that attends UVU. Maybe some of you are a wolverine. Um, but I'm going to show you a different version of Wolverine. This version. Okay. Comic version. And actually, I'm going to show you the real life comic version. Okay, played by oh, I just forgot his name. Anyways, it will come back to me. Um, say that one more time. Hugh Jackman. That's right. Thank you, Robert. So, what was so special about Hugh Jackman? Well, not Hugh Jackman. If I ask my wife that question, she'll really go Google for him. She really likes the individual, but his character, okay? He's Australian. Yes, that is a characteristic of him. Okay. Why was he able to have those claws on his hands? Anybody remember the story? If not, you have to go watch X-Men again. Okay. He had the ability to heal. Yes, thanks, Sherilyn. Okay. So they injected adamantium in his veins and well and in his hands to create these claws, right? But as he was attacked, he would heal. Okay. So he is resilient. So we're going to move along to the second clue, but resilience. So I need another volunteer, and I thought there was someone. But anyways, if you could take yourself off mute or raise your hand and read this quote for everybody about resilience. Draven, I see your hand raised.
Yeah. Oh, let me take that off. Okay. Resilience is very different than being numb. Resilience means you experience, you feel, you fail, you hurt, you fall, but you keep going.
Draven, hold on there for a minute. Can you give us an example of when you have seen resilience in somebody?
Let's see. Well, I guess like I had this friend at school and like he kept like failing his test over and over. I think it was actually the driving test for to get his license.
Hmm.
Failed at least 3 times, but he just kept going with it. And like, he eventually got his license. And I don't know, I thought it was really cool that it just kept going.
Yeah. Yeah. Didn't give up, right? In spite of failing or feeling like you failed, just keep on trying, right? Learning, relearning, keep on going. Thank you for that, Draven. That's awesome. Okay, so we have to be resilient. This means that that we're going to fail sometimes, and that's okay. We're going to not achieve our goals. Maybe we feel like, oh, I didn't do that very well today. Okay, I didn't have that conversation very well. Oh, I said it weird. Okay, that happens to me all the time. I wish I could go back and reverse, right? But resilience means that you stand back up, you keep on going. You realize that your human nature is there, but that doesn't define you. In fact, the failures don't define you. Okay? So on that same piece of paper, write one tip that helps you be resilient. And this time, I want you to write this on your piece of paper because I want you to share this with your supervisors. Because as supervisors, we want to know this information. Why would we want to know this information? Because we want to help you. Your supervisors care about you. And when you're having those hard times or struggles, to know this little bit of information of what helps you be resilient is very helpful to your supervisors. So write one tip that helps you to be resilient. Maybe kind words, maybe given a second chance, maybe expressing confidence, something like that. Okay? All right. So that's about resilience. I promise you that you can be resilient. It may be difficult and it may not be easy, but there will be power that comes to you in your job as you be resilient. And the fact that we'll all have moments where we need resiliency. Okay? It happens. All right, then we have another quote. We're going to talk about connection. This next quote is probably my favorite. Okay, of all the things, for some reason it resonates with me, and it's by Brene Brown. And if you have read any of her work, you'll understand this quote. But I'm going to set it up, and I'll take this one. I'm going to read this one. She says, I define connection as the energy that exists between people when they feel seen, heard, and valued, when they can give and receive without judgment, and when they can derive sustenance and strength from the relationship. I love this quote because it just feels good, right? I think all of us want to feel seen, want to feel heard, want to feel valued. We want to give, but we also want to receive. If you're a science person, if you like biology, I think if I remember my biology lessons correctly, this is called kind of a symbiotic relationship, right? And if you're a math person, this may be expressed in a formula that says something like 1 plus 1 is greater than 3. Okay? 1 plus 1 is greater than 3. Some of you math majors may feel like, that doesn't make sense to me. Okay? If you're a history person, this would resonate to you if I quote, I believe it's Aristotle, that, let me see if I get this right. The whole is greater than the sum of the parts. Did I get that right? I think so. Okay. If not, look it up. But what it means is as we work together, as we align, as we see each other, there is a certain energy that comes from that, right? We feel like we matter, we can contribute to the team, and that we can help other people. Okay. And there is connection strength with that. All right. So we're going to get into some of the policies of Lehigh City. These do apply to all of you as employees, but just they apply to everybody because they're good things that we need to talk about. So the first one is our philosophy at Lehigh City is that the most productive and satisfying work environment is one in which work is accomplished in a spirit of mutual trust and respect. This means that we want you to come to your job and enjoy your job, okay? We also believe that you'll be most happy when you're doing your job when people treat you with trust and respect. This means giving you assignments to do your job. This means respecting you, that you may have a different way of doing things sometimes, but your opinion matters, your perspective matters. Also believes that you'll be most productive when this happens too, right? We ask you to do a lot of work, whether it's site supervising, whether it's daycare, whether it's lifeguarding, whether it's the new ice rink that's coming online, I believe, next week. And I'm excited for that. There's a lot of work to be done in the city, and you provide awesome programs. Peter was sharing the program guide. I don't know how many different programs are in there. Peter, do you know off the top of your head how many different programs there are? Anyways, put that answer in the chat. There's a lot, right? And it's wonderful programs for the community to come and do amazing things. And so we want you to be there, and we want to have an environment that has a spirit of this mutual trust and respect. Okay? All employees have a right to work in an environment free from discrimination and harassing conduct. This means that harassment could be on the basis of your race, of your color of your skin, your creed, ancestry, national origin, age, disability, gender, arrest or conviction record, marital status, religious preference, sexual orientation. The list goes on and on. Basically, we treat people with respect. This means that um, there's room for differences, right? Variety is the spice of life. Okay. But there's things that just we don't do. Okay, they're big no-nos. We don't treat people differently just because they speak a different language. We don't treat people differently because they have a different hair color or they identify differently from us. That's okay. There's room for all of us. Okay. Um, Continuing, harassment can be a form of discrimination that is offensive. It impairs morale, undermines the integrity of employment relationships, and causes serious harm to productivity, efficiency, and stability. We don't like it, right? It doesn't feel good. It's not right for us. It doesn't help us create that culture of mutual trust and respect. Harassment can be in the forms of what we call quid pro quo, which is Latin for this, for that, meaning I'll do you a favor if you do something for me. Okay? I'll go out with you if you take my shift. Okay. It can also be a hostile work environment where something happens that makes us feel uncomfortable, where we can no longer do our job because someone said something, someone treated us something, someone showed us something, whatever it may be. It can be verbal or it can be nonverbal, right? It doesn't have to be words spoken, but maybe it's an email, maybe it's a text, maybe it's something else, right? And it can be physical or it can be non-physical. It can be intentional or it can be unintentional. So that type of harassment, we didn't mean it that way. Maybe we meant it as a joke, but the impact, we consider the impact, not the intent. So you may not have meant it a certain way, but we would need to be aware of that. How did it impact? How did the other person, how did it affect them? Okay. All right. So this is our policy, and I share this not to scare anybody or to come down too harshly, but to let you know that we treat it seriously. And so employees who harass others may face disciplinary action up to and including termination based on all the circumstances. So what that means is, the first time it happens, we'll give you a warning, or we may give you a warning. If it's the first time it happens and it's really bad, maybe that's it. Maybe we say this is enough and we won't let this happen. Okay? But we really don't want it to happen in the first place. We're trying to prevent these things from happening. That's why we're training on it. Okay? My mother used to tell me an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure, right? A little action in the beginning has a big impact later of prevention. Okay? So that's what we're trying to do. So what happens if it happens? What happens if we see something? The first thing that I want you to do is say something, okay? If you feel safe with that person or the situation, confront the situation and put the other people on notice. Let me give you an example of this. If someone tells me a joke that I feel uncomfortable about, say, I didn't like that joke, okay? You don't have to make people feel uncomfortable or awkward about it. But if you don't say something, you're almost giving them permission to continue with that. And if that's not what you want, then you need to say something. If you feel safe, do that by yourself, okay? If that you don't feel safe doing that by yourself, say it to someone else that you trust, maybe another coworker, supervisor, maybe a family member, a friend, and have them go with you, okay? There's power in those connections, right? But hopefully there's someone that you trust. Maybe it's me in HR. I don't know. You can come visit me anytime you want, okay? If you do tell someone else, what are the expectations that will happen? Well, if you tell a supervisor can always get help to manage the situation. Sometimes that resolution is the supervisor will tell them, don't do that anymore. Sometimes it will be more than that. But we will help together. And if you come to me, I'm going to go back to someone over you, a supervisor or someone else, that can help you specifically. Okay. I honestly don't remember everybody's name. And I think it's best that because you work closely with your supervisors or managers, those are probably the ones that know you the best, know what you need in that moment, know how to address it the best. So I will work with them. If they get stuck, I have some advice, but really we'll work together. Okay. And we absolutely want to resolve the situation as best that we can. Um, Okay. If there's something that happens and you need to report it, I would generally say start at the lowest level possible. If that means a direct supervisor, if that means a manager, if they can't help you or they're unable to do it or you're unhappy with how they resolved it, go up a level. Okay. So go to their supervisor and say, hey, I tried to work with my manager. This didn't work out. Can you help me? Can we talk about this? Okay. Or you can always come to HR and like I just said, I will go work with them as well. If it doesn't make you better, if that doesn't make it better, we have additional resources. I'm going to show on screen a list of different people that you could go to, depending on how you feel comfortable or who you know. So there's a whole list of people, okay? Your supervisors, managers, human resources, city administration, friends, family members. We also have an employee assistance program that can be used for all employees and for work-related issues, and just a plug commercial break, or non-work related issues. If you have too much stress in your life and you need someone to talk to, you can call the employee assistance program through Intermountain Healthcare. I can give you that information. I don't have it on screen today, but it is a free resource for all employees. It doesn't matter how many hours you work. Okay. So
One thing, David, sorry, I wanted to add with that. Another thing is it's also available to family members that live within your household also. So that's super important. And the other thing that my staff always find enticing is that the city gets notified of the number of employees that access the program, but they don't get notified of which employees actually access the program. So if you're worried about somebody finding out or your supervisor finding out that you're getting help for something, that's not how it works. It's just a free resource to the city. They put a high emphasis on mental health within the city. So I encourage you to if you need the information, all of your managers have the information. And we can send that information out as well.
yeah, I'll get that information to Catherine. Catherine is great at getting more information out.
Yeah.
But managers, please, please, please help your employees know or have access to that resource. Thank you, Brittany. That's awesome. Okay, we care about your mental health. We care about you, right? And if you're struggling, we have lots of different ways to help you. We just don't want you to struggle longer than necessary. Sometimes the hardest thing is to ask for help, and we want you to do that. Okay? So, the next slide. Part of this is knowing yourself, right? Sometimes conflict will happen. It's part of life. We're all different. It happens. We have different personalities, we have different expectations, we have different experiences. That's that's who make us, right? And that's very valuable. But like I remember in fifth grade dare class, okay, think ahead, plan ahead. What's your tipping point? When is enough enough? When are you going to go to and say, hey, I'm struggling today. Can you help me? Okay. Who are you going to talk to? How are you going to address the conflict? And how can you remain humane? That's a tongue twister. Say that 5 times fast. How can I remain humane? Okay. But we want you to be your best self. And so sometimes that means we have to have a plan to address the conflict. All right. Um, we're gonna have some fun. I have 3 situations, and for sake of time, looking at my watch, we have just after 10:15. We're gonna only do 2 of these, okay? We're gonna start with the first situation, then I'll decide the second one. But let's just do these as a group. We're not gonna go back in the breakout rooms. But the first situation is a hypothetical situation. I did not take this from a real life example from the Legacy Center or the outdoor pool, but I just created it out of my mind, okay? So the situation is this. As an employee, you're working as a lifeguard at the outdoor pool. While in the chair, a parent comes up to you and starts asking questions about one of the other lifeguards. What's his name? Why does he have really long hair? Is that a he or a she? I don't like him working here. You get the point that the parent is unhappy, okay? How do you respond to that parent? Think about that. This is kind of a difficult situation, okay? How much information do you share? If we're trying to say yes, as we learned in Peter, what can you say yes to the parent, but also balance safety? Or what are you doing as a lifeguard at the time? Is it an appropriate time to ask questions or answer questions? Okay. Do we have a lifeguard supervisor or a head guard or someone brave enough to kind of speak up about the situation and see what they would do? Oh, Robert, I see your hand raised.
I'm not a lifeguard or a supervisor for him, but if no one else will jump in, my first reaction was, hey, lifeguard in the chair needs to be focusing on people not drowning. My response as that lifeguard would be, now's not the right time. Go talk to my manager.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Okay, you're not trying to put off the parent, right?
Yeah.
But the primary job of the lifeguard is to scan the pool and make sure everybody's safe within your vision, right? Awesome. Thank you for that, Robert. Okay. So maybe call over a lifeguard, a head guard, right? And they can address the situation. Okay. Um, who is a lifeguard? Oh, well, let's not pick on lifeguards. Let's pick on, sorry, I shouldn't say pick on. Let's have an someone who works, do we have anybody in the daycare that's on today? Daycare or preschool that can speak up? What? Come on, be brave. I'll have Peter give you an extra gift card. Because I'm a co-host, I can do that now. Brittany, do you want to answer it or do you want to call on somebody?
Oh, I can answer, sure.
Go ahead.
You want to about this visit or this example, right?
Yeah.
I definitely think this is a very specific example where lifeguards can default, like your number one priority is watching the water. I think that we deal with angry people all the time. I mean, you might have the same situation where somebody comes to the front desk and says that. At least for me, David, you can correct me with this answer. I'm the manager, and so you can always default to me. Like hard conversations, sometimes you want to always treat the member with kindness or the participant or whoever they are. So you don't have to be too hasty and like it might annoy you or it might offend you the things that they're saying because I mean it's offensive to me when you read it, right? Like it's not an appropriate conversation. And my son has super long hair and I would hate for someone to say that to him.
Right. Exactly.
So anyway, I always default to the manager. We are paid to have the hard conversations and talk through that. It also helps to remove them from the situation. So if you figure this person is talking to somebody in a chair, that means there's patrons who are around. That means there's other coworkers who might overhear the conversation, it's really a good idea to remove them from the situation. It also gives them a second to like rethink their thoughts. Maybe they're having a reaction. And so if you default them to talking to a manager, then they have to walk over to the manager or be removed from the situation and kind of rethink it. So exactly what Robert said, I think it should default to the manager for lots of reasons.
Yeah, yeah, certainly. Those uncomfortable conversations, you can certainly lean on your managers. I like that a lot. I think there's also an element as a lifeguard, you can say, well, that's my coworker, right? You don't have to give them all the answers just because they're asking the questions, right? But you can certainly say, well, you can express confidence that they're doing their job as a lifeguard. They're great at their job as a lifeguard. And we're doing our job right now, and we're going to keep you safe as a parent, right? We're going to keep your kids safe. And so, just expressing confidence that sometimes these can be awkward when they start to talk about, or you think they're going in an awkward place and you don't want to go there, but just to reassure them that, okay, we have their back, right? Our job is not to be the morality police. That's not our job. We're providing services to the community and to the parents. And as a lifeguard, the services are to keep everybody safe in the pool, right? And so I really like that is let's come together, let's treat people with respect. If you're the parent, what are you looking for, right? I'm kind of projecting there that they're maybe uncomfortable. It doesn't matter if they can do their job, if they can save kids that fall in the water can't swim. That's what matters here. But you're also trying to express confidence in your coworker, right? I don't know if they can hear the parent or not, right? But if they can, they'll be like, this is uncomfortable. What can you do to your coworker to express, hey, I got your back, right? Say, hey, it doesn't matter. You're my coworker. We're guarding together. You're awesome, and I'm grateful that you're here. Okay. And so you can respond that way, maybe afterwards when you're not on the chair. Okay. All right, let's go to, let me look at the next situation. Well, we're going to go to situation number 3. Okay. So, speaking about mental health, Brittany, this situation is your coworker is usually a happy person, but you notice something is different lately. He isn't as talkative and leaves right after the shift is over. You want to do something, but don't know what. So what can you do? Let's hit up the chat this time. Okay, what do you talk to your coworker? Do you pull them aside? What can you do for them? If you're the coworker, what do you want someone to do for you? Or do you want anything at all? Okay, Dennison started us off, say make sure they feel invited and loved. Text them after work, right? Some kind of connection point. Okay, check in on how they're doing. Hey, you seem off. Everything okay? Okay. I love Nathan's comment. Just to be friendly, but not invasive. Be genuine, right? You can sense when someone genuinely cares about you versus they're just trying to check off a box, right? Tell them that you're there. Praise their good work. I love that. Okay. Make sure that they feel cared about. Okay, sometimes we struggle, right? We struggle with mental health, or we had a bad day, or maybe homework's got us down, or whatever it may be, social situations, family life. There's a lot of different reasons. Traffic, train noises. I don't know if that keeps you up at night. Okay. And just smile and be friendly with them. Okay. Maybe they don't feel comfortable in talking about everything right now, but maybe you just need to share with them, hey, when you're ready, if you want to talk, I'm here for you. Okay. We don't have time today, but I love the video that Brene Brown speaks about empathy and compassion, about getting down in the pit with someone. Okay, the deer is in the hole and the bear comes down. And instead of just saying, hey, at least it's not as bad as it could be, right? Sometimes we just need to be just hear a little bit of empathy and say, hey, this really stinks today. Okay. It's hard, right? And just finding the right way and knowing, hopefully you know enough about your coworkers to kind of understand what they prefer, what their preferred communication style is. And if you're a manager or supervisor, take some time to figure that out. Okay. Maybe this is a situation you can talk about if you have a team meeting or staff meeting or something. Say, hey, how would we, what would you want to have happen in this situation? Okay. What we don't want to happen is don't want to be invasive, right? But we also don't want to ignore the situation either. We'd rather give a kind note or something and say, hey, we see you, we hear you, are you okay? Rather than just saying, well, it has nothing to do with us, right? Just that simple check-in is really good. Okay. All right. So now I've got to go back. Okay. So on your piece of paper, we have a fill in the blank this time. I want you to write a sentence, or you don't have to write the whole sentence, but everybody plays a part. We all have responsibility as part of this, a part of the culture, a part of the team, right? And I want you to complete the following sentence. I can manage stress better and improve my workspace by blank. Okay, so write this on the piece of paper. Basically, I want you to think about what your part is. As you're doing this, I'm going to show you a video back to Hawaii, the Kilauea volcano. And I believe the sound is set up. If it's not, someone message me. Okay. Melanie, I see your chat message. If you want to write that down later, that's great. Okay. All right, let's go 2018. Let's see if we can get this started. Thank you, Brittany. Okay, so that was a video of the rivers of lava. There was a mile, many miles long of river of lava that went from part of the island to the edge of the island, made it to the beach, the ocean. Okay, but it really caused a lot of stress for many locals. Okay, one of those was the Poihiki boat ramp. Okay. So in closing, we're gonna wrap up here, but peace is not the absence of conflict. Peace is the ability to handle conflict by peaceful means. Okay. I want to empower you to give you skills and abilities to handle stress in your life by peaceful means. Okay. As employees, as people, as human beings. Okay. There are things that we can do together so we can have peace in our lives. I don't know about you. I like the peace and paradise of Hawaii, right? And the last quote I have, and if you need me, you can contact me here as well. You can see me in real life. You're awesome. I am so grateful for you as employees of the recreation program as a Lehigh City employee. You do amazing things. We have great programs throughout the city throughout the year. Okay. This quote by J.C. Penney: courteous treatment will make a customer a walking advertisement. Courteous treatment will make a customer a walking advertisement. Okay. So this was not me in real life. I did not snowshoe or hike, but if you need to get a hold of me, my phone number, you can email me, you can come visit me in City Hall if you can get around the construction, okay? Or you can call me over to the Legacy Center. I go over there and I walk with my wife at nights, most nights from 9 to 10 o'clock. Come find me. Really, I'm here for you, okay? With that, I will unshare my screen. I will stop sharing. And I will give the time back to either Brittany or Peter for any last minute notes or instructions. Brittany, what do you want us to finish with?
So last thing, we're going to just put your name in the chat. That shows that you were here the whole time. That's your clock out. Just remember the paper that you did for Peter and for David both with your notes on it. Make sure to try to enter your supervisor my staff, I like, if you want to just text a picture to me, that's also fine. And then we have the envelopes for you. They are in the safe up front for those who don't. So the front desk managers also know about that. And we can hand those out to you if you attended today and turn that in. Might as well do it. It's a free coupon. It helps to do that. I just want to emphasize how much we appreciate you guys as staff. I know that I don't even know most of you, but as a manager of the Legacy Center and the Recreation Department, we couldn't do our jobs without you. So we appreciate you for spending the time on a Saturday to be here. Thank you for those who turned on your cameras. That's super important. Yeah, if you guys also, now you know me. Even if you just saw me on my face on here, you can always reach out to me. My extension's 2312. So pick up a Legacy Center phone, dial that in there. I'll answer. I'll talk to you. Come chat with me if you want to. Come visit me across the street. But we want you guys to feel safe and appreciated. And thank you for being here. If you guys have any questions or anything, reach out to us. I think that's everything though. Any questions from anybody? Just don't forget to put your name in the chat. I want you to get paid. If you don't, I don't know who all of you are, so I can't vouch for you. The way we're vouching for you is by reminding you to put your name in the chat. But I think that's everything. Thank you to David and to Peter for being here on a Saturday also to do this training. You get to look forward to this training once a year. We do this 4 times a year, so make sure to attend. I think it's 4 times, or is it 5 now, Catherine? Is it 4? I think it used to be 3 and now it's 4. Yeah, 10 times. If you have a coworker who missed this training, Catherine did record the training, so she will email out the training for them to watch, but they have to get approval from their supervisor. So make sure to turn them back to their supervisor for that if they have questions. I think that's everything though. You guys are great. Thanks for listening to me blab for a couple seconds. Enjoy the rest of your Saturday. Don't forget to put your name in the chat. Thank you all.